Hi friends, this is Peter Bain, co-founder of ForexMentor.com. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today for this very special presentation, Generating Consistent Profits in Forex. Why is it so hard? This is being recorded and the recording will be made available after the webinar. So welcome. On this snowy day, it's snowing where I live in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Here's the disclaimer. Please note the salient points in red. Okay, if you have any questions, you can submit them to us simply by typing your question directly into the GoToWebinar control panel. There is no such thing as a stupid question. Don't be bashful. And don't click away too soon because we have a very special offer at the end of this presentation. And so hang in there and we'll get to the end just as soon as we can. All right. This is the Three Musketeers. This is the team supporting what we're talking about today. We're talking about the S123 system. The creator is Lennox Chambers over to the left, the good-looking guy on the left. He's a trader, options and Forex trader, has been trading options for a very long time. He's the creator of the Simple 123 system and the programmer behind the wave calculator that we're going to talk about today. I'm in the middle. I'm the co-founder of ForexMentor.com. ForexMentor.com is in excess of 15 years old. On the right is George Pitcher, who has been a member of ForexMentor for, well, since 2008. He is a trader par excellence. He is a programmer. He did the programming to implement the wave calculator that Lennox developed into MetaTrader 4. He also did the programming behind the alerts that we're going to be talking about soon. He's also one of the mentors on board. Now, I just want to quickly tell you how this all came about. I met Lennox last year at a seminar, ended up sitting at the same table with him. I found out he was trading options, and I mentioned I was trading the Forex. I mentioned the profit potential, and he invited me over to his place to learn more. So I went over and showed him the ropes. I didn't think anything more of it. I thought, well, okay, I've done my job. Lo and behold, shortly thereafter, I discovered that Lennox had opened up a live account, a live Forex account, and he was trading 10 standard lots. I said, Lennox, where did you get 10 from? I didn't tell you to trade 10 standard lots. Nobody does that. He said, well, you didn't tell me what to do, so I figured, well, 10 is a good round number, and I'll trade 10 standard lots. And away he went. To make a fat story thin, he ramped up his $5,000 entry account amount. In his live account, he ramped it up to $30,000 in a month. That caught my attention, and I immediately contacted my business partner, Vic. I said, look, we got to expose this system to our members because there's something happening here. And that's why we're here today. Now, let me just show you some of Lennox's trades. And yes, this is a wowie. These are real trades. More green than red, obviously. I should point out that Lennox is trading 10 standard lots at a time. We're not expecting you to do that. If you trade micros, minis, or just a few standard lots, you'll do very well. If you wish to trade 10 standard lots, you can emulate what Lennox is doing by following, paying attention to what we're going to teach you today. Now, this is an interesting slide that we just added because Lennox initiated multiple S123 trades on Sunday, this past Sunday, as part of his campaign to update my FX book. And from Sunday to now, he has a profit of $4,393.85. That's not too shabby, to say the least. Now, what I want to talk to you about now is the fact that my business partner and I said, okay, you've got our attention, Lennox. Let's just see what you can do. So we gave Lennox $5,000 each, and Lennox threw in $5,000 too, so that he ended up having roughly $15,000 in his trading account. And our challenge to him was, okay, let's see you double that. And Lennox set off to do so. That was actually the 14th of November of last year, as at the 12th of January 2018. He'd ramped that up to $27,852.32, at which time he gave Vic and I our $5,000 back. He took his $5,000, and that left him with a grand total of $13,324.01 remaining in the trading account. Then we said to Lennox, okay, look, we want to start a hedge fund, and we need X amount of dollars in order to do so. What we want you to do is prove it all over again. We would like you to ramp this number up to the number that we need to open up the hedge fund, and we're looking at a balance as of the 5th of February 2018. That was his closing amount after he gave us our money back and took his $5,000. And as of, hot off the press, as of February 21, I believe we're at now, 21st of February, he has gone from $13,324.01 up to $18,137.32. Now, we need more than that to start the hedge fund, and he's getting there. He's on target to get there. I just wanted to show you that his system works. These are real. This is Dukascopy. I trade at Dukascopy too. This isn't a fudged intraday statement. This is a real statement showing you how he's tracking with real money, trading 10 standard lots. Again, you don't have to do that, but if you wish, you can. Okay. All right, this is where I'm going to stop talking because Lennox is the star here. And so I want to turn it over to Lennox and let him talk for a bit, and then we're going to get George involved, and then we'll wrap it up. If you have any questions, just get them in, and we'll cover them at the end of the presentation.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Hi, everyone. Okay, so one of the questions that we find, or one of the things that we find, is that most Forex traders are struggling, and not even Forex stocks, so forth, struggling trying to make consistent profits. And basically, we want to know why is everyone struggling to make profits? At least trying to make consistent profits anyways. So why do most traders struggle? There are four major challenges we feel, and we have solutions to these challenges. So let me just go through each of the challenges, and then we'll present the solutions. Number one, analysis paralysis. This is probably the number one problem. You have a lot of cluttered charts. Your charts have too many indicators. You're definitely overthinking your trades. Just doing this kind of overthinking, you miss the trades. You're afraid to trade. So when you have your charts with way too many indicators, and don't get me wrong, we use two indicators on our charts, but when you have too many indicators, you just spend most of your time looking at indicators and forgetting about the charts and the price action and the patterns and so forth. So that challenge is number one, we think. You just try to keep those charts clean. Challenge number two, the ability to find good trades. You just have not got enough time to scan the market. There are just too many pairs to go over, and with that, there's just too many time frames. So number three, you're confused about where to enter and exit trades. You have a lot of fake setups, and you don't know, is this one a good one or is it not? You don't know where to put your stops. You don't know where to take profits. You're exiting your trades way too early, or you're exiting them too late. So these are the challenges that we think that most people have. And again, number 4, this is, for me, I think this one is the biggest fear. If you're afraid to trade and you're afraid to lose money, then it's a big problem. So if you're unwilling to take the risk and if you have no confidence in the system that you're using, and you're changing your strategies back and forth all the time, this is going to be a huge challenge. So we want to present some solutions, and that's what this is what this is all about. So one of the solutions to the first challenge is to keep the charts clean, and don't have too many indicators on them. We use the moving average and the MACD, PPO, and that's it. We do have an indicator that's the wave calculator, and that's after the fact kind of thing. But the charts are basically quite clean, and you're just looking for a certain pattern. And that's what this whole 123 system is all about. You're basically looking for one pattern, and you enter 3 numbers. You actually don't even have to enter them. You just click the points, and the wave calculator kicks in and gives you your targets, and that's it. And so it makes it very simple. You don't have to overthink anything, and it's what works for us. Okay, number 2. It makes it much easier to find good trade setups, because we have alerts that we send out, and they're sent out in real time on the hour, and we have a Skype room and so forth that we kind of go over some of the trades. I know it's tough because it's different time zones for everyone, but we try to get in there. I know George is in there a lot. I try to get in there as much as I can. So this really helps, especially if you don't have the time to scan the markets, and we certainly don't have all that time to be scanning the markets and looking at 28 different pairs and so forth. So this is just a snapshot of what the alerts look like when they come in. Okay, so that's for challenge number 2. So for challenge number 3, when you're confused about where to exit and enter your trades, we have the wave calculator. And again, this wave calculator, it just allows you to enter 3 points and gives you your targets, and that's it. That's as simple as it is. We teach you where to put your stops. It's not a hard and fast rule. These are just guidelines, but you have a good idea of where to put a stop in and where to take profits. And the wave calculator also gives you a risk reward that's printed right on the screen as well. It tells you whether or not this is a good setup. So it's a really, really invaluable tool. And for challenge number 4, the fear. I think once you get into this system and you start to understand it, the fear factor will dissipate, because the setups, once you start to recognize the setups, you will then be just taking those trades. You'll have your risk reward. You know where to put your stop. You know that, okay, if you're going to lose, you know how much you're going to be losing. You know where your profit target is, and so you can just let these trades run. We have a good track record. We're using a sound system in the sense that it's based on a system that's been around for decades upon decades, from the 20s, basically. And so it's very sound. There are a lot of traders around the world that use this system, and We have support via webinars. We have the Skype. We have mentoring. We have emails. So we have everything covered in the sense that we have confidence in our system, and we'll be able to impart all that, the instruction on how to use it and make it work for you if you're willing to take us up on our challenge, which is to learn the 123 system. So what is this simple 123 system? In a nutshell, it's a three-step approach to locating trades, entering the trades, and exiting the trades using that special tool, the wave calculator. And that's basically all it is. It's a very straightforward, simple system. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I'm just going to say it's very simple to adapt to and learn. Okay. Peter, this is not moving for me. To the next slide. Okay.
There we go.
So this is an example of a trade that was made last night. Last night is Tuesday night, and Tuesday nights I usually go to the movies with my daughter. I've told this story on a lot of the webinars. So on Tuesday nights I go to the movies with my daughter. So last night we were George and Peter and I and Vic, our other partner. We were all going over this webinar for tonight, and I was in the trade, but I had to get to the movies, and so just at around the time I was about to leave, I noticed that my trade was coming close to target. So basically, I enter the number 2 and number 3 points into the wave calculator, and it gives me my target. And the recommended target is the green line, the middle line when you're going up, and it's the red line when you're going down. I noticed that this trade was reaching right near the target. So I said to Vic, this trade is just about to hit target here. I think I'm going to take the profit here at the target and get out of it and go to the movies. Usually, I would just let it run, but in this case, I thought I'll just take the profits and go. And as you can see, it was perfect. It just went right to target. I had my target already set. My take profit was already set for that line, that target. My stops were already set. So this is basically how the system works. You enter your 1, 2, 3. You enter your how many lots you want to trade, and where your stop is going to be, and just set your take profit and let it run. And that's what happened. And I went in with only 2 lots on that particular trade, but it still was a nice profit. I think that's about 1,400 or so profit. So not too shabby. So that's basically how the system works. And again, as you can see, the chart has not too many indicators on it. I actually have a third moving average on my chart there, just to kind of give me a gauge of the trend. But that's not a usual one. That we usually only have these 2, and the MACD. Okay, let's go to the next. So how can the simple 123 membership help you? George will take over and give you a synopsis of this. Thank you.
Good evening, traders. First thing I want to tell you is that since I've been using the system 123, my tip rewards have gone up quite a bit. The simple 123 system is really quite elegant. The other advantage for me has been that I've been able to move from hourly charts up to 4-hour and daily charts, which gives me a lot more time to play around and program. But here's what is included in the membership. Our starter course documents all the elements of the simple 123 concept in a nice step-by-step fashion. In addition, we have many resources that offer many programs to help you in your trading. Now for MT4, we have an improved Heikin-Ashi system for those that like that. We have modules on how to install your programs, how to set up your charts. We have our trade rules for the System 123, our trade entry guidelines, application tips, strategies, and we have an improved MACD calculator and many, many other things. We also have a large library of trade recap videos. It's going back to July of 2017. These can be studied to gain a thorough understanding of the 123 system. Now, the heart of the system is the wave calculator, and this does a phenomenal job. We have two kinds of calculators. One is a standalone calculator, which can be used with any platform you have available to you. And the second is an MT4 version that draws your targets on the chart and calculates a reward to risk so that you can judge the value of your entry to target. Now, Lennox has just started a weekend program which he calls a playbook of videos that details each major currency and how they are reacting with other currencies so that you can have a guide to selecting the most favorable pairs to trade. Now this helps to allow one to spend more time on doing a proper top-down analysis on these pairs and offer better opportunities for trading. Now in addition, we have weekly trading webinars, usually on every Wednesday. They are all recorded so that members can review them, or if they were not able to attend, they can see them to catch a few items that we cover, because we cover many things in our webinars. We can focus on proper money management using the Heikin-Ashi charts and refinements to the system, etc., that you can that traders might want to use. Now, we generate trade alerts throughout the entire trading week. This allows people to focus on what may be better trades that are setting up. All alerts, of course, have to be reviewed to determine if they offer good opportunities. Now we have a new chat room under Skype for members. Now this has proven to be very valuable. I know it's even helped me, and I'm one of the mentors on the group, but because the chat room, the people ask great questions, present great ideas, and we can review potential alerts, we can share charts, etc. And in general, it's a good place to fine-tune your S123 strategy. This has become very important and a very positive segment for members. Now we also offer email support so that members can get personalized attention from the team to help them gain an understanding of the system. Next slide, please. Here's a snapshot of our weekly playbook on the left, where Lennox videos his thoughts at the beginning of each trading week. Now on February 18th, we offered the following: USD pairs, the Kiwi pairs, gold, the sterling pairs, the euro pairs, the Canadian and Swissy pairs, and the Aussie pairs. In it, he shows charts of how each of these pairs ties up with their counterpart. Now on the right is a snapshot of comments from our new Skype chat room. And as I was saying before, this has become a very valuable option for people because they can ask all sorts of questions and put their ideas in there. And in general, we can help one another, and we get help, and they help us too. Now, on the next page, we received a comment from Tom that reads as follows. I've been having mixed results with the two systems and different tactics. So I went back to basics with a $10,000 demo account. Yesterday I traded several pairs successfully, but found I was spreading myself a bit too thin. Today I used a single pair, GBP CHF, which with several lots. Whilst on a demo account, I did very nicely. My target was the R2, which is similar to the 123 middle target, and there's plenty more available. So he's been using this as a tool, and it's worked out quite successfully for him. Next slide, please. I had another member that told me I'll opened up a small live account, and he increased it sixfold in a matter of a couple of months. Well, not everyone can do this. It is possible to achieve excellent gains if one pays attention to the rules and has the patience to persevere through the ups and downs, which we all know about. So what's the big deal about this? Well, we suggest the pairs to trade, and we give round-the-clock alerts, which come out on an hourly basis. Now, the alerts are usually 4-hour and 1-hour alerts. You learn how to get into a trade, and you learn how to get out of a trade. At the beginning, you know how much profit you're looking to make. This is all done through the Wave Calculator, which is a phenomenal tool. It makes life real easy. So in addition, we have all these hand-holding things like webinars, emails, playbooks, and a ton of videos. And we have the ability now to talk to others, including us, through the Skype trading lounge. And as I mentioned, this has been an important asset. So you have a wave calculator for Forex, which works in any market, literally. And in addition, you have access to all the traders, myself, Lennox, and Peter. So it's a phenomenal system. And you can see here, and this was a chart that we showed before in challenge number 3, how this simple chart, you place your 1, 2, 3 on, it actually shows you a risk reward number also, but it shows you your targets. And it's getting the trade in. We have explained how to get into the trade, where to put your stop, and you wait for your target to come. And it works. It works beautifully. So Peter, would you like to take over now?
Yeah, thanks, George, for an excellent presentation, and thanks, Lennox, to you for an excellent presentation. Lots of stuff here. So, folks in the audience, here's your rare opportunity to learn from someone who has achieved consistent profits in Forex using a simple system. Just remember what I told you earlier on in this presentation, that he took $5,000 up to 30 within a month when I first met him. And then Vic and I threw out a challenge to him. We gave him $5,000 each. He threw in $5,000. So we had $15,000 in his trading account at Duca's Copy, and he ramped that up to $27,000, at which time he gave us our $5,000 back. He took his $5,000 back, and that left him with $13,000 and change. to continue trading. And then our next challenge to him was to ramp that up to a number that we need to start a hedge fund. So I would have to say that it's difficult to characterize this without getting too glowing about it. I use the S123 system for my Forex and stock trading. I trade both the Forex and stocks, and I rely heavily on not only the strategy that Lennox posits, but a team of wild animals couldn't pull the wave calculator away from me. I have my own copy of it. I use it every day for the Forex and for stocks, and I wouldn't trade without it. The thing I like most about it is it tells you where to get out of a trade. I mean, the dilemma for most traders is, okay, I can get into a trade, but then where do I get out? And Lennox's wave calculator takes care of that. Now, where does this leave us? I asked my business partner, Vic, to sharpen his pencil and see if we couldn't do something for you today to make it palatable for you to get access to Lennox's system and his wave calculator. And so Vic did a good job of sharpening his pencil, and he's come up with this offer for this webinar that is good for the next 48 hours. I think it's an incredible deal. Normally, we charge $199 as the entry fee for the first month, $99 thereafter. Vic says, okay, let's chop that down to $99 for the first month, then $99 per month thereafter. This is good for the next 48 hours. The other option you have is the 6-month prepay, $497 for 6 months. That's a 28% discount. So please sign up at the bottom. The link is at the bottom. Please register now, because the first 7 people to do that in the audience are going to get a very special bonus coming up in the next slide. So I'm going to give you a chance to write that link down, type it into your browser, and join now, and then hopefully you're going to be one of the first 7 to partake in the offer that's coming up momentarily. Again, this is an incredible offer thanks to my business partner, Vic. I should point out that with the system that we're talking about today, it's not going to take you more than a couple trades a month to pay for this, so don't get overwhelmed by the pricing here. It's a heck of a deal as far as I'm concerned. Now, for the first 7 sign-ups today, you are going to be invited to attend a private Skype session with Lennox and the rest of the S123 team during market hours. And this will give you a chance to look over Lennox's shoulder during market hours to see how he looks and thinks for profitable trades, and you will be able to comment and ask questions. This is just one heck of a deal. Again, there's the offer at the bottom of your screen. Make note of that link. Type it into your browser, and please try to be in the first 7 to take advantage of this special Skype offer. Now, let's just have one more peekaboo at what we're talking about. These are real trades that Lennox has achieved. Just looking at the dates here, August 30th, 2017 up to February 15th of 2018. So you can see lots of green ink here, very little red ink. These are real trades. Nothing's been fudged here. We wouldn't do that to you. Just remember that Lennox trades 10 standard lots at a time. You don't have to do that. You can trade micros, minis, or a few standard lots. If you wish to trade 10,000 or 10 standard lots and you have enough money in your account, well, fill your boots. I just wanted to remind you that Lennox uses his system successfully, so you can see the results here. George just quoted, I hope I'm not telling tales out of school here, but George just quoted before we started the webinar that he just within short order has achieved 1,000 pips, which is quite incredible. I'm having good luck myself with the Forex. I've gotten to the point now where, for example, if you look at the Euro USD recently, there was a nice setup on the 1-hour chart, which I jumped on because I saw the pattern. I just jumped. I didn't even think twice. I said, I've seen this before. I'm going to jump on it. used my red calculator to figure out what the exit point was. So I put my entry point, my exit point, my stop into Dukas copy, just implemented the trade and walked away from it. One of the beauties to using Lennox's system is you don't have to sit there and stare at the screen all day long. You can just put the trade on, let it rip until it gets to the profit potential, the number 3 point, level point that you're going to use as your profit potential, and Bob's your uncle. This is one of the things I like best about this system. If you're looking for a complicated system, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is not complicated. This is just simple stuff. This is a simple trading system that we call the S123. The link again is in the middle of your screen. This is totally affordable. You can do it. Just a couple months trades a month will pay for this for you, and you'll never look back. So again, there is the link at the bottom of your screen, www.forexmentor.com/123/join.php. And I hope that you are one of the first 7 to sign up to take advantage of this special offer to work with Lennox in a Skype session where you get to see how he thinks. And that's very important because I've been in this business, it seems like since the earth cooled, but a very long time. And I would have to say that Lennox is one of the best traders I've come across. And I think that this is probably the best offer that we've ever made to our members. It's a very simple system. I love it because you don't need a lot of indicators. You just need to look at a couple indicators that he talks about. You need to look for one pattern. You need to use his calculator to figure out what the profit potential is, and then just let it go. Beautiful. Poetry in motion. Again, there's the offer, and I think at this point, George, do you want to have a boo at the questions to see if I answered one question on the fly, what percent of wins to losses does this system have? It's a win-to-loss ratio of 8 to 2 out of 10, 8 wins, 2 losses out of 10. George, do you want to handle the next question?
Yeah, let me see. You answered the questions on the percentage of win to losses. I know mine has been up around 80%. The pips that I did that you talked about, Peter, was just for the month of February to date.
Wow.
Okay, now he's confused. Rob is confused about the alerts around the clock. Okay, the alerts are from an automated program that we have, and they come out every hour. Now, the alert might be on an hourly chart or a 4-hour chart. Now, even though they come out 24 hours, what I do is I ignore alerts on the time period that I'm asleep because they're of no value to me. Most of them have passed. But I might look at a couple of alerts that are a couple of hours before I got up, because some of the alerts might have second 1, 2, 3 opportunities in them, or they might not have reached their breaking point where it takes off and moves to the target quickly. So you have to read the alerts and judge them for yourself. Go through the procedure that we set up. I hope that answered your question, Rob.
Rob talks about wanting to go back to the trade from the chart yesterday and dissect the trade. He says, I don't see the 1, 2, 3 pattern. The 2 and 3 look like they are on top of each other. What do you look for when you put the 1, 2, 3 on the chart?
Thank you, Wally, for joining.
Yeah, can we go back to that slide?
Which slide is that? Sorry.
One of the charts. I'm not sure which number that was.
Why don't you go back to the one that he did last night?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just see if I can get my mouse to work here. Let's just go back in time to...
I think you passed it, didn't you? Oh,
I think you passed
maybe not. There it is.
Is that the one?
No,
Yeah.
no, that's, no.
No, that wasn't it.
That's nice.
No.
Okay, well, let's go back further and see if we can find.
There it is.
There it is.
Is this the one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Rob, is this the one you're looking for?
The one.
Yes.
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 This is the one. This is the one Rob's looking for.
Yeah, this was USD Japanese yen. Yeah, I guess, yeah, sometimes the 123 is not perfectly, how can I say, sometimes it's not perfectly formed. You know, they're not going to be all perfectly formed. I can see 123s even though they might not look like a 123.
Lennox, the simple answer to this is that as you train us, you can go down one time frame lower than this and see the 123 more clearly. You readily see them on the higher time frame charts, but we have to sometimes go down to the next lower time frame to see the clear points.
Yeah, and in this case, this one, I think it ended up last night going to the red target and then retracing and coming back down. So yeah, I kind of felt it was a more of a counter trend move to the overall trend, and I think that played out just that way. But yes, George is correct. If you're having a hard time to seeing a 123, you drop down to the lower time. Actually, I wrote that in today in the Skype room to all the members. If you can't see the 123 clearly on the 4 hour or the 1 hour chart, drop down to the 30-minute or the 15-minute chart, and the pattern will become much clearer.
Yeah, Greg says the 1 hour shows it better.
Yeah, and if you can't see it on the 1 hour, you can drop down to the 30 or the 15-minute, and it'll become crystal clear to you. And I do that often.
While we have your attention, Lennox, John McKenzie has a comment here. He says the 123 system is pretty simple. The difficulty is deciding which are good and which are not so good. Your input on what you do to decide this yourself would be very helpful. Okay, well, again, we're looking for three things when we are entering a 123. So we want to see a well-formed 123. We want to be at the end or the beginning of a move, of a trend. So in this case, looking at this chart, we can see that we came down to a low point. Conversely, you would have a high point up here where you'd have a 123 top coming down. And then we're looking for the moving averages to cross. And then we're also looking for MACD to cross. And once you have all those three elements in, you could safely, I guess, say that you have a 123. Of course, the trend, if you're on the 1 hour, the overall trend of the 4 hour, and is important, is very important, and so that you know that you're not going against the trend, and your trade's not going to make it to that target point if you're going against the trend. So those are the kind of things we look for, and again, once you become familiar with how those set up, it would become a beautiful thing to see and behold. Because if you can get into a trade in between the number 2 and number 3 points, you're getting basically a nice ride up to target, and that's because all the traders in the market are pushing the market up or down, depending on which direction you're going, based on a system that, like I say, has been ongoing for decades upon decades. A comment I'd like to make here, Lennox, and I'm sure you'd agree, is that the key word here is patience. Don't try, if you don't see, or if a 123 doesn't look obvious to you, then take a pass on it. That's right. Just be patient and look for bona fide 123s based on the alerts. And this, what we're looking at here is the USD JPY. Well, if you go look at the Euro USD 1 hour, I think it was last week, I saw the exact same pattern on the Euro USD 1 hour chart, and as soon as I saw it, I said, bingo, I'm in. I I did my wave calculations. I put in my entry point. I put my exit point at the green line. I put my stop loss in. I just put the trade into Dukas copy. I let it run, and I walked away from my computer. Just, I love it. It's magical.
Greg just sent a message in. There's a 123 possible setup on GBP JPY on the 4-hour right now.
Okay.
And
Thanks,
before you get there, Reynolds Joseph made a valid, astute observation here that what we're looking here is when the alerts come out, they're based on that moving average crossover of the 5 and 21. So now we can go to Greg's comment about the 123 possible setup on the GBP JPY.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the keys, of course. So when you see that crossover, you know there's a 123 nearby, and you know you can look to trade it. It's a very a beautiful system once you get the hang of it, and you're not going to get the hang of it after a week or even a month. You know, it takes time and patience. And we're here to help you. So if you have any problems, you know, I know that the members who are on board now can attest that, you know, we'll help you all the way along. Again, because once you start to see it, you'll be a believer, and it is definitely a beautiful thing.
One thing to sorry, George. One thing to complement what you're talking about, Lennox, is the use of MACD. You'll notice that one of the things I look for in addition to your 123 setup is MACD to go oversold below the waterline and then punch up through its trigger line, which is an early warning to look for the EMA cross of the 5 and 21. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the things that the system has taught me is to be patient. And it allowed me to go up to the 4-hour and even daily charts and find the 123s, which I find to be very good, and it's rewarding. I don't have to stare at the charts all day. And I guess for people that are working, I'm retired now, but people that are working, this is a great thing. You don't have to look at your charts all day. You can just set them up when the daily chart changes and go to bed or do whatever you want to do and go to work. Rob has a question. So the alerts are when a 123 is set up and to take the trade. Well, it's not quite that simple, Rob. The alerts point you to possible good trades, but you have to analyze them yourself and see if all the criteria is met. Because some of the times the alerts will set up trades that are counter trend trades. And I personally do not take counter trend trades because they can be too darn difficult. And it's easier for me to wait until I get a nice clean 123 and just let it ride. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, that leaves us with the thing from Greg where he says 123 possible setup on GBP JPY 4-hour now, a good live example. Since we're not live, that
so he's talking about a 123 top.
Yes.
Yes, 123 top.
And yes, it is. It's a beauty. I like it. So if anyone is, yeah, it looks great. Just from looking at it first glance, and daily looks great. Yeah, weekly looks fantastic. Yeah, that's a really nice setup there.
So in closing, it looks like we are running out of questions or comments. Please get them in now before we shut down if you have anything further. And thank you to Wally for your kind words, much appreciated. And Cameron says here, the best deal on earth, it's worth every penny. Thank you, Cameron.
Thanks, Cameron.
I think we've covered, well, I think we've covered most of what has come in. Just leave the offer on the screen a little bit longer before we cut out to give you a chance to get a, here's Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Can you explain how do we use the ATR? I see it on my charts, but don't know what to do with it.
Go ahead, George. You could explain that.
The ATR is an average range that a candle moves in a day. And we use that. There's a percentage there to show you how far the current candle has moved compared to the average ATR range. So one would think now, if today's candle has moved beyond the average daily range, how much more can it go to? So if you are thinking about putting it on a trade when it's at the end of the line, it's worthwhile thinking twice. There's many more things that we go over on how to use the ATR, but I think that'll give you an idea.
Rob T, the moving averages we use are the 5 and 21 EMAs. We look for the crosses there. Greg Downton says, best system I've come across in trading Forex after many years of trading. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate those. He says, very, very simple. And Reynolds says, thank you. So it looks like
I can quickly show them the GBP JPY if I take control of the screen. If anyone's interested in taking a look, that'd be okay.
Lennox, before you do that, for our members, it looks like we're going to go live now. So just a reminder, the link is at the bottom of your screen, www.forexmentor.com/123/join.php. If you haven't joined, please do so now because we're going to switch to live momentarily. Just make note of that link, type it into your browser, and join now. And then you can get involved with George, Lennox, and myself with the S123 system, and you'll have absolutely no regrets, and that's coming from me.
Okay, so let me just make myself the presenter here, and I will show my screen. And can everyone see me?
Yep.
Okay. So I am live. I'm actually in my live account, looking at the British pound and the Japanese yen on the 4-hour chart. I'm sorry, it was Greg that gave this.
Greg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what Greg is seeing is this formation here on the chart. And excuse my chart. I always keep my chart in test mode because George and I are always testing, and we're trying to make this as efficient a system as possible. So these little indicators I have are not indicators that we recommend you use and so forth. These are just for my little edification. I have this this EMA that we don't usually recommend either. Again, that's just for a to just take the overall trend. And in that case, that was a 50. I used a 55, and that was just to give an overall trend showing that the trend was down. So if I go to the daily, and one of the things I like to do, I just quickly go over what I like to do when I'm looking at when I see an alert and I want to look at it a little closer. I start with a monthly chart to get an overall of the chart. What is it doing? Where is it going? Where has it been? And then I wanted to zoom in onto this location here, this bar, basically. So I can see that the trend is this is the U.S. The British pound. British pound has been very strong against Japanese yen for a while on the monthly, and on the weekly, very strong going up. And now we have the sellers are coming in at this point here on the weekly. So very quickly, to just a quick glance, you can see the chart's the British pound has been very strong, but now in the last couple of weeks, the sellers have come in, and the Japanese yen is strong against it. So we go to the daily, we can see that the trend is definitely down, so now we're looking right at this area here on the chart to see what's going on. So we have a spinning top And that's one of the things. These are the little finer points of the system that we look at to determine whether or not that question we had. How do you know if it's a good 1, 2, 3 or not? This is one of the finer points that we use. You can look at a certain bar setup, and a spinning top is one of them, and you can determine right away. Oh yeah, this looks good by going down to a lower time frame. So if I drop down to the 4-hour time frame, what that spinning top shows us is that we have a 1, 2, 3 top, and it's as simple as that. And so once we have our 1, 2, 3 top, I can just clear my screen here. I had a previous calculations that I was looking at. So this is a British pound Japanese yen. I had calculated previously this 1, 2, 3 here going up to this target at that point. So that's a nice clean 1, 2, 3 going up. But now there's a large 1, 2, 3 that Greg has pointed out, and I just click on my wave calculator, put in my number 1 point, click on it again, put in my number 2 point, and click on it again the third time and put in my number 3 point, which would be the lowest one going back, and it gives me my target. So if anyone were willing to take this trade on, it's made a big move down already, but there's still room for profits. This to about 93 pips to target still. So this is what we're seeing right here. I'll make it a little bigger so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. And we look at MACD. MACD is crossing and going down towards its waterline, the 0 line. This is one of the indicators that we look for. We look for the crosses of the 5 and 21 EMAs. And in this case, it's crossing going down. So this tells us that we have a good solid setup here for a 1, 2, 3 top. And that's basically the system.
I should point out, Lennox, that George did the programming behind implementing the wave calculator into MetaTrader 4, and this feature is available to all attendees to become members of the S123 system. So there you go.
And it's similar. If I wanted to go the opposite way, I would put the 1, 2, 3 in going this way, and this would be a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and taking this up to target points at this location or the higher target points up here. So we recommend you go to the green target or the green target. So if you wanted to, you jump into this. Sorry, we jump into this trade in between the number 2 and number 3 points. Put in your stop. If you say you jumped in right at the cross and you were to go right up to the green target, which you can just set and forget it. That's 60 pips from that location, which is a nice profit. And if you decided that you wanted to go all the way up, you could go to the red one. It's all up to you. That's 118 pips to there and 140 pips to that area. So it's a very straightforward system. It works beautifully, and that's basically it.
Thanks, Lennox. I don't see any other comments or questions, so I guess we're getting close to the end. We'll hang on a little bit longer here. We got a couple more minutes.
I'm getting alerts coming in as I speak. It's 6 o'clock now on the Pacific Coast. So yeah.
The link again is at the bottom of your screen. For those of you, I see that we still have quite a healthy attendance. The link is at the bottom of your screen if you haven't signed up. Don't forget, you're going to get lots of support from Lennox, George, and myself, and my business partner, Vic, and of course our support person who's online with us now, Kat. We're not going to leave you alone when you join up. We'll help you as best we can. And I think the really cool feature lately is the lounge, where you can join in and talk it up around the clock with other members, or tune into what George has to say, or Lennox, or myself. And you'll do quite well with your trading. Thank you, Lennox, for an excellent presentation, and George, thank you.
Thank everyone for attending, and good trading.
Yeah, we're going to close it off now. Before we close it, just again, make note of that link. And if you have any questions, get them into info@forexminute.com. If you have any lingering doubts about what you've heard today, we'll take the time to answer your questions. You can contact us at info@forexminute.com. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to be here wherever you are. I'm going to go back and look out the window at the snow that's falling here in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Theoretically never snows here, but all of a sudden it's decided to do it. So winter wonderland has arrived in beautiful Victoria. I hope you're having a great time where you are, and we look forward to seeing you again in one of our next events. Thank you, folks. Bye for now.